So one of the most important training tools or exercises you can use for any sport, I would say especially for something like jiu-jitsu or any kind of combat sport where there's a lot of lifting involved, especially in your takedowns, is squatting. It's something that I think every athlete should do, and I recommend all my athletes do it. Now the problem with squatting is you have to do it in such a way that it spares your knees, because squatting improperly is very bad for your knees, whereas squatting properly is very good for your knees. So one of the best ways to squat, which is easy on your knees, is doing what we call a back squat. Now before we start loading our weight on our back, the best thing to do is to master the back squat with your body weight, and that's something that a lot of people do right. So some of the biggest mistakes with squatting is, the first one is people have this idea that they have to keep their feet forward, which is completely incorrect. When you're squatting, you want to have your feet shoulder width apart and you want to have them turned out to about 30 degrees. The second most common problem is people always assume that they're sitting into something between their legs, when in reality, you should aim to sit into something behind you, okay? So if I have my feet in the right position, if I put my arms out, and if I tilt my back or my butt up and back, what I want to do is I want to sit back as I lean forward. Now, if I do this, you'll notice that my knees stay behind my toes, yet they stay in the same line at that 30-degree angle. If your knees are too far in, it'll be bad. If your knees are too far out, it'll be bad. So the moral of the story is keep your knees in line with your toes, but keep the knees behind the toes when you squat. When you get better at doing this, you can kick out the chair, or you can progressively go into something lower and lower, and you want to practice leaning forward and sitting back as you come down. Eventually you come right down into the full body weight squat. So one of the other major problems is, for some reason, people have this idea that they have to keep their chest up when they're squatting. That actually is not a good idea. What you want to do is keep your head or your eyes focused on something about 3 to 4 feet in front of you, and when you squat down, you actually want to fold at the hips. If you try to squat down while keeping your chest up, you'll automatically translate yourself forward and your knees will come over the toes. Versus if you push your hips back as you squat, you'll see that you can achieve the proper squat depth while keeping the knees behind the toes.